This is the Bar Stewards Enquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Hello and a big warm welcome to the Bar Stewards Enquiry Weekend Podcast. Yes, we're going to make an exciting weekend out of a bag of bollocks. We lost meetings to the weather this weekend, no fault of our own, but we're going to cover Lingfield on the Saturday and Lingfield on the Sunday. Joining me tonight for this fantastic show, Mr. Jonas Lang, Naps King Andy Richmond, who's leading the current National Naps table, and Super National Judge Chris Gartner, who is intrigued by Saturday's all-weather cards. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Let's get on with this. We've also got Irish cards this weekend, but sadly, we'll try and do it under any other business, but we didn't do much work on the Irish cards because we didn't know they were going to be on terrestrial television in the UK. So please bear with us and don't groan if there's not much Irish coverage this weekend that are on ITV over the Saturday and Sunday. Right, best bets round 1, 2 and 3 points. This is the round you like because we've got the best judges on by far. Chris Gartner, coming to you.
I'm going to hedge here, Lee, if that's okay with you, if that's allowed in the rules here.
Yeah.
I'm going to split the 1 point. I'm going to Leafy Lingfield on the 225, and I'm going to the handicap hurdle here. There's a couple, Gal Roads, to start with, and then one that I can't believe the price at the moment is Alpha Leap. I'll start with Gal Roads. I thought he ran a cracker at Haydock, coming back after a long break there in fourth. They then stuck him in the long walk and obviously wasn't good enough. I don't think there's a massive amount of juice in his current mark, but I think he's still pretty unexposed as a stayer, and he's gone well. He ran at this meeting a couple of years ago in the very fancily named Sovereign Handicap, where he was only a length behind Harry's Fry's Meteor there off a mark of 141. He had Bold Endeavour behind him at Haydock, and I think there's a little bit of juice. I'm surprised that he's not actually on prices looking at the favourite here. The other one is Alpha Leap. I just can't believe it. He's just not a 20-1 shot that you can get in all the dirty places there. I mean, he's just not. He's not taken to fences this year. They put him back. They put him back over hurdles into a handicap. Paddy jumped back on board. He was only touched off in the Pertemps, wasn't he? A couple of seasons ago. I think he went down. Oh crikey! I mean, he must have gone down by a letter there. So that was off a mark of 138, and yeah, I just think that over this sort of trip at this sort of likely dead ground, I think he's got a right good chance of running well.
So the price is on offer to you, sir. You can have 11-2 Gowell Road with Skybet and William Hill. Denise does go 6, but it's the 2 rule books, and it's 20-1 Paddy's and Betfair for Alpha Leap. What are we saying?
I'll go Gal Road on the nose, and I'll go Alpha Leap each way.
No problem. So that's a quarter point each way, Alpha Leap at 20s. Yeah. 4 places for Chris, and half a point win Gowell Road at 11-2 with Skybet and William Hill. Thank you, Chris. I'll leave Andy till third for his bet. So, John, I'm going to come to you for your Tapiter action and Polytrack action rather than...
It's a bit presumptive, isn't it? You're right, but it's still a bit presumptive.
Go on.
235 Lingfield. The ideal ride for Zarzini is to come over the top of these late, and I think the field's probably set up for him to do that.
Like Ron Jeremy.
Yeah, exactly like Ron Jeremy, only slightly less rotund, I'm hoping. He's on such a good mark. I can't really not give him a spin up at the price, to be honest. Barron's in such good nick as well the last 14 days. He's one of the rare trainers showing 100% the Racing Post horses running to form. As I say, I think this will set up ideal for him. Even though he's getting very much towards the very last chance to loan him, I've got to give him a go here.
Yep, the sprinting equine wanker for John.
Yeah.
Zarzini to be dropped in to come over the top of them fast and late.
Slingshot ride we
The
want.
slingshot at 10 to 1. John, are you wankering each way? You're on the nod.
Nah, straight win. Bollocks.
1 point, 10 to 1 for John. Zarzini, good stuff. Andy.
I've not bottled it. I've dug my all-weather form book out twice over, in fact.
Wow.
So we're going to the 2 o'clock at Lingfield tomorrow, Leafy Lingfield, probably my most hated of the all-weather courses. But it's a bit of a dog.
Andy, you won a flat naps tape.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't mind the flat. I don't mind the flat. It's a misnomer that I prefer the jumps, but I don't mind the flat. I tend to like the better class flat action, though, rather than the turgid stuff. This isn't a bad race tomorrow, and I'm going with Al Rufer in the 2 o'clock at Lingfield. It hasn't taken long, the old Kublers, to rejuvenate this horse, who's been at the Godstones with Charlie Fellows. Now, he won on his second start for his current yard at Wolverhampton, where they exploited a tumbling handicap mark. And I thought the old boy won with plenty in hand on that occasion. He looked well suited by the strong pace of the race. He then ran all right at Southwell next time out under a penalty, but the gallop wasn't particularly strong. And he was on the worst part of the track over on the far side on the old Tapita. But it was still a decent performance. He's back at Lingfield for the first time since his debut. I reckon the track will suit him. Kingman's got a good record round Lingfield. And although he's drawn a bit wide, I think he's got a decent pace to aim at. And if he's around sort of 11 to 2, 6 to 1, I reckon he's worth a point on the nose. Al Rufer.
13 to 2 for you, Andy.
Oh, lovely.
Yep.
Some of that.
Yep, 13 to 2, Al Rufer. That's with Bet365. BetMGM. You get you bet £10, we'll give you £40 free and close your account. But
Yeah, it's about right, isn't it?
yeah, send in your documents for life.
That being the golden age of sports betting, I believe.
The golden age. We're in a golden age. Absolutely golden age. It's never been better to punt on sports and British racing. On to my useless token selection. We go to Lingfield on the Sunday. Goes in the 3:35 race there. That's the one that John likes. It's the race that stops a nation. It's the Surrey National, John.
Has anybody counted up how many of these regional nationals there are?
Just so you know, not to come to me when we cover this in full.
They've missed a trick not calling this the stockbroker national, haven't they? They could have. It could have been formerly worked for Lehman Brothers, couldn't it? National.
I am going to go through and find out how many of these there are.
They should have called it yet another twatting national, shouldn't they? Really?
Right, so anyway, on to the Yes Another Twatting National. Sponsored, of course, by Fitzdares. Yes, William Woodhams runs that firm, so hopefully Fitzdares will get a good kickback from this. But 6 to 1 Animal, that's generally available. That is where my bet lies. This is a very unexposed stayer. Ran a blinder in the Market Raisin National, the Lincolnshire National.
Lincolnshire National.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And this carries the unexposed mantra because this is what this horse always wants. And Adam Norman gave me a massive bollocking for not putting Animal out as an edge bet at Sandown when he said this will win because it's heavy ground, it's a stiff finish Sandown, it's always wanted a trip. Did I put it out? No. That shows you what I know about jumps racing as a rule. But seriously, Adam Norman likes this as a stayer. And I've seen that. I've seen that in the horse. It's thrived for stamina-laden trips. And I think Animal will step forward again. Market Raisin, I don't think it's his track. Lingfield will suit it much better. And I think the 6 to 1's good value. So 1 point win. So that's
There's a hell of a drummer in the Muppets, wasn't he?
Yeah, of course. A bit of Def Leppard there. Def Leppard fans.
Animal.
Yeah, there you go. Right, we move on after that. Yeah, terrible. 2 point round. I'll swing to you, Andy, first of all.
Right, we're back on the all-weather. See, I've surprised you here, haven't I? Surprised you. I thought rather than
You've done this on purpose.
rather than giving out a load for the cancelled, but you can't abandon something without starting it. Always annoys me when they say it was abandon a meeting.
I'll have an even £5,000 that Sunday goes out at Lingfield. It's 12 degrees in day. It's like tropical.
12. I'll tell you what, it's not 12 degrees here. It's like fucking ice
Well, it
face
don't
in
matter
Edinburgh.
there. But 12 degrees Lingfield forecast
Yeah,
Sunday.
well, yeah. They probably will go ahead, actually. It's just not, it's a decent card. Don't worry, we've got something for that later, but we'll stick with the all-weather. I thought the feature 10 Fillies handicap at 310. I don't like backing favourites, but I've not seen a horse on the old all-weather that's impressed me as much as Oh So Grand in a race that has a fair bit of depth, but she's got a run style that really suits this all-weather. She's had 3 starts on synthetic surfaces since her debut. Wolverhampton, Newcastle, Lingfield over this trip. She had a really good turn of foot last time out over course and distance to win up a mark of 85. They've shoved her up £4. Don't think that's going to stop her. One danger, well, there's a couple of dangers. Twirling with Ryan Moore back on board, riding in the UK for the first time since October, and that's probably the main danger. Storymaker's another horse I like, but that's up in grade. But turn of foot, Oh So Grand, couple of points on the nose.
Yeah, it's the right favourite, Andy, and
Yeah.
very solid choice. 9-4 generally available. We'll come on to that preview in the TV races. Thank you for that. So that's Andy's 2-point selection. John, coming back to you.
I'm all over these hold-up jobs and all weather tomorrow.
Really?
You know, 3:45 Lingfield. Guess who? Our old mate, Dave Simcock with Smart Champion.
Oh, not with Ailey on board.
Yeah, hey, honestly, I'm all over this, I tell you.
Ooh.
Physically, he was fat for his first run back from a break, and he looked a bit more trim the second time, and that should have put him absolutely bang on. This horse won off 80 in 2022, I think it was September. Given a decent pace here, he has to show something. 1 point each way.
Yeah, I'll give you 16-1 4 pegs as well.
And that'll do nicely.
Sky Bet Hills 888 paying 4 pegs on that race.
His usual slow away, won't it?
Yeah.
And when you each way double it with me 3-pointer, you'll be in clover. You'll be loving this game.
I love this game. Before we come to Chris to finish the round, I'm going to start with my selection. The 2 points goes against Andy in the 310. Winter Oaks. Andy, believe me, you're on the right lines with Urso Grant. The wrong money for me is Twirling from Trap 1. It's a negative AE backing inside runners at Lingfield.
Horrible draw, yeah, it's horrible draw.
Yeah, Ryan Moore's going to have to, but it is Ryan Moore though, so you've got to up there. The one in question here is Eleanor Cross. This was in my 3-year-olds to follow last season, and obviously this is a very sacred podcast that we do every March with the 3-year-olds to follow for the season. I thought she could
the only
be
one
actually...
we do that's worth fucking listening to.
it is. Right, yeah. So she was in my... And I mentioned that I thought she could be pattern class. I think the old Wiley Balding, obviously, she must have had an issue because she were off the track a while. She ran in a very slowly run race at Salisbury. Then at Lingfield last time, she ran from the front end off really slow fractions. 115% was the finishing speed, which basically suggests that was absolutely no good to her whatsoever. 1.5 miles, being able to drop in, hopefully there'll be some kind of gallop. It should be okay. She really should make mincemeat of 75. I'm not saying in this company, it's reflected in the price. So, 2 rule books. It was 14-1 with Denise. I can't have that, but I can have the 11-1 generally available Eleanor Cross to fulfill the potential that I think she should be at least listed class. I don't know the injury situation because she was off the track quite a while. I thought she was one to appear next summer. Remember the Nottingham form behind Sisyphus Strength. She's strong form. 75 or whatever mark she's got in the 70s. It's just a ridiculous mark. But Andy's on the right fav. I do like Urso Grand, and I'll probably make that a leveler if I'm betting on Betfair. So 2 points win Eleanor Cross, 11-1 generally available. Chris Garner.
All right, so I'm back to Lingfield on the Sunday for the Surrey National. I'm going with a one that takes a bit of imagination here, I think. I get the animal angle. I can see that. I think he's probably still got a bit of improvement to come. Obviously, the classic chase winner come out and frank that form from Sandown. But the one that I I'm going to take a bit of a chance on is Fergal O'Brien's Man of the People. I quite fancied this one for the Scottish National last year, and I'm not sure what happened. Didn't end up completing that. Came back and ran a really good race at Exeter, and then you've got to kind of forgive the last two runs. The last run was the old Low Sun at Donny. They didn't jump the last four, which what's the point? So ruin that race. I just think he's always wanted a trip. I dug out a book like Andy did, and I looked at his family page, and he's related to the old Howie Johnson trained Grey Abbey, Calgary Bay trained by the back in training Henrietta Knight now. I just think over he's not exposed over a long trip, and I think he'd quite enjoy Lingfield, so he'd be mine.
Interested here. 16-1, Chris, Man of the People, and I can give you 5 pegs. That's allowed.
Oh.
Go on.
Are we 1 point each way, Man of the People?
Oh, I'll go win on that.
Ooh, 2 points at 16s from Gardner. A monster, a good bet there against Animal. Let's hope it comes second to the Animal and makes him sick.
You're not very generous.
No.
Was Def Leppard the fella with
one
arm and
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention the Animal though. James Bowen on. I mean, I think that's a massive plus. Yeah, in terms of like riding changes. But anyway, for Animal. But anyway.
He goes back tomorrow, isn't he?
Oh, good God. The best trainer in the UK today has Ned Curtis, Jerry McGrath, and Nick Boinville as his stable jockeys. I mean, Jesus. I mean, there must be some gin and blowy sessions there because you've got Sean Bowen, Jim Bowen, and Jim Bowen has to play second fiddle to Nika. I mean, Jesus Christ.
It's a bullseye.
It's what you could have won.
Look what you could have won.
Look at what you could have won. Yeah.
Nothing in this game for 2 in a bed.
Yeah.
What you could have won if you'd had a proper jockey.
The thing is with this, I always struggle with Clarehaven on the flat. You've got John Gosd that employs Rab Avlin, and he's employed Kieran Schumacher because he's number 1. And then you're on Nash Lunt, you've got Nicky Henderson. I don't understand when there's like probably a dozen better jockeys in both spheres. Sorry, I don't get it.
I couldn't have him. I haven't got the stats down, but I just couldn't have him in a handicap either. Anyway,
I've lost where we are now.
3-point round.
Have we finished the 2-point round?
Yes.
Yes, thank God for that. Right, it's the 3-point round. This is the important one, the lucky 15s, the absolute epitome of the weekend. This is the one that changes lives. So, can we change lives? Let's have a look at our selections. Okay.
Ruin lives.
Well, we can ruin. Yeah, we do that regular. We've ruined golf clubs. So we come on to the 3-point round. I'm going to kick the round off with a 150 at Lingfield on Sunday. I'm struggling to understand the prices here. Why is the king of PRs not a very short price favourite is the question. That's what I'm trying to ask. If you watched it at Limerick, this was like really, really impressive because he could have pressed the button probably 3 jumps out. He didn't. He kept waiting and waiting, sitting and sitting and sitting and sitting. Like typical Irish, left it a lot to do at the last, and he still managed to come through and do it nicely. I think this is thrown in still off 132. Gavin Cromwell's made his desire to come and challenge for UK pots, and 3-1 is stupid. You've got Jane Williams with a favourite with David Noonan on. Come on, lads. 3-1. This is monstrous. This should be 7-4, 13-8. King of PRs. If it does everything right Sunday, it'll win. 3 points win. So that's where we're kicking the round off. Chris Gardner.
The words I thought I'd never say. I'm off to Fakenham on a Sunday for a veterans handicap change. I mean, this is what fucking climate change has driven us to. You know what I mean? We absolutely scrape it, don't we? And I'm also going with a Hobbs horse as well. So, dear God. But I'm going with Celebrity de Alain. Gets a nice pull of the weights from the Beecher form there. And I just think there's a little bit left in that mark. Didn't think it ran badly on the Beecher. Hughes did typical Hughes ride. Gail jumps back on and takes 7 off. I think she's a decent claimer, to be fair. I saw this one absolutely bolt up in the veterans chase in October, and he'd be a pretty strong fancy.
I do like your selection very much. Elizabeth Gale is, I think, a rather underestimated £7 conditional.
She's very good.
She is very good.
Yeah.
She's very balanced in the saddle. Honestly, I think she's one of the really good prospects. I don't like to say the word female but anyway, jockey's coming through, because I genuinely think she is worth the 7. If I see her booked, I'm intrigued to see what she's on, because I think it enhances the chance.
I think if she was on, I don't know the reasons why she wasn't on in the Beecher, but I think if she was on instead of Brian, I think she certainly would have been a lot nearer the winner there. The winner there obviously reopposes there, but on far worse terms, and needs a career best off 12 stone there, really. So, I mean, Frankie de Burley's obviously been pissing around in cross country, hasn't he? Gooseman, don't know, 12-year-old. Is that? Yeah, really, really good chance, I'd say.
In the veterans, John loves these. He lives for the weekend. The veterans and the nationals. 11 to 4.
What you want.
Is generally available for Chris's nap. So hopefully, me and Chris can do this. We can do this. We can get a lucky 15 going here. 3 to 1 and 11 to 4 for Chris. Andy.
Just to talk about Elizabeth Gale for me, didn't she give Celeb Delan a really good ride in a veterans at Aintree earlier in the year? She came from absolutely miles off the pace. Showed a really good judge of pace. It was back in October at the old Rowan meeting.
Yeah.
Absolutely pissed up.
I was there, Andy. Lee uses.
They all went off miles too quick, and you thought, well, hang on, she might have overdone this, and anyhow.
Yeah, exactly. Not pressing the button 3 out. She just sat on him, and then great ride.
116 lengths beat Land of Smiles. Beat.
That was a really great ride, because what happened was, like you said, the other horse took her on, and she just went, well, off you go. And this was 3 out, like you say.
Yeah, she's really good. She's pretty good.
No panic. Yeah.
She's ridden well round Hereford and Ludlow as well. I've seen her ride well round there. She used to ride as an amateur, and then she went conditional this year. I think it was this year.
She got injured, didn't she? She had a bad injury.
Didn't she ride for Sheila Lewis for a while?
Yeah.
And then she's gone to Hobbs's. But I think she's well worth keeping an eye on. I couldn't resist having a pop at the regional national just to complete the set. So if you're doing this one, you're either going to have to back 4 horses, do the tri-cast or some combination forecast.
Oh, we don't mind that.
I'm not with Animal or Man of the People.
Oh, fucking hell.
I've got another one out of the Lincolnshire National for I'm going to split stake wanker this, by the way. So the first one is O'Connell, who I thought actually should have won the Lincolnshire National, and gets a massive jockey upgrade because he's only ever had one ride for Sue Smith before. Harry Cobden is on board, and I do think this is. I've really changed my mind on this horse because I thought it was a complete and utter nutter the first time I saw it, and I'm thinking this is really quirky. Then he's absolutely pissed up at Market Raisin, and I still think last time out he travelled really well. If you must be able to trade this horse on Sunday, even if he doesn't win, you'll be able to trade him. And I think he's a little bit overpriced. So O'Connell is certainly the first one. And I'm hoping this didn't have too hard a race in the Welsh Grand National last time out, but it ran off its absolute face. I know it got beaten miles by Nassaland, but we know it's a good horse. But not sure from way out the handicap last time out. Ran a belting race, was one of the 5 to finish. And I've had this marked down for a little handicap, or a fairly small handicap for quite some while. This Not Sure. It's in the handicap right down the bottom. The ground is going to be like glue there on Sunday, if we do race. So I'm going to go 1.5 on each on O'Connell and Not Sure.
So look at the prices. 1.5 on O'Connell is 7 to 1 Andy at the moment. Not Sure. Look at the producer's holding hands up here. Yeah, she's saying 8 to 1. Not Sure.
That'll do nicely. Is that with the producer? 8 to 1.
Yeah, she's laying.
I think she probably is. Yeah.
She's laying all 4 of our tips in this race. We wouldn't take this many in Copper National. Well, I hope
you
it's
bad
off.
man. John, finish us off then.
I don't even want to have to watch it. Right, my 3 pointers in the Surrey National. Is it fuck?
Yeah.
No. Why betting the Surrey National when you can
Ah.
go to Turles
Turley.
on Sunday and you can have a bet in the big one at a big price? Because I'm going for Capodanno to upset the apple cart. This ran quite a good race last time, believe it or not, even though it was beaten 6 wickets. Brian Hayes spent most of his time early on wrestling with the horse and trying to get him back. He was probably still a bit fizzy from his seasonal debut, so I'm willing to excuse that. But I think Mark Walsh being in the plate on Sunday's a good sign, actually. He's one of the few in this race to finish with some running in him last time out. For me, Allaho was an absolute empty vessel last time at Kempton, and I think this is probably coming soon enough. Envoy Allen's a proper in and out cunt, isn't it? Appreciated he had a hard race last term. French Dynamite isn't even rated as high as Capodanno anyway, so I'm putting a line through him. And I think 2 places, 16 to 1, I think 1.5 points each way is a tidy bet. Yeah.
The quarter odds as well, so you get the 4s rather than the old dreaded Turley into 135.
I rather like this.
For the Horse and Jockey Hotel Chase, the Grade 2 event, which is, of course, live on ITV on the Sunday to finish the round. Right, I hope you've garnered some knowledge there from us.
Absolute education, lads.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with mine. We're all comfortable, I think. So there we go. Let's hope we can line your pockets with silver on a rather diluted weekend. I am reliably informed, of course, that the Clarence House has been rerouted to Cheltenham. I don't know if that's public knowledge, but maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't know. But anyway, yes, it is. It's Clarence House will be rerouted to Cheltenham.
You'll have the BHA after you for that.
I probably will. So we come on to any other business because we're only covering the Lingfield television races Saturday and Sunday. I know Chris will mute himself for the all-weather action on Saturday and we'll bring him back in for the television race Sunday. But any other business this weekend that you'd like to get off your chest?
My best bet was at Taunton and it's off. I just felt I'd have a little whinge about that.
Yeah, there you go. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. If
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, Chris, anything for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's not to be priced up yet, but there's one that's been in my tracker for a while and at Fakenham that makes its chase debut, and another Fergo O'Brien one in St. Jaguan for the Imperial Racing Club there. He's just an out-and-out chaser. They're not pissing around over hurdles there. Makes his handicap debut there by St. Desain. I think he'd go well. Liam Harrison's a jockey I like when he's on a chase debutant. You know, I think he's we talked about Elizabeth Gale reading pace and race reading. I think he's a really able, very good jockey, to be honest. Yeah, and I quite like the look of him if he takes to a fence. Obviously, it's not priced up yet, but he's definitely one that I'll be keeping an eye out on.
Good stuff for the old Fergal O'Brien at Ravenswell team and Imperial Racing, of course, that have had many good horses over the years. Interesting insight there in the Build-A-Bet handicap chase. Sky Bet Build-A-Bet. And how do you build a bet? They won't let you lay a bet. I mean, you can't get a bet.
I'd rather go to Build-A-Bet.
Yeah, Build-A-Bet, yeah. I would actually, yeah.
That could be the name of that race we sponsor if we have that day out. We could call it the Can't Get a Bet.
You can't. Yeah, we could do this. We might do this one day. Right. On to the television action tomorrow then. This is where Chris sort of like, you know, like the old Simpsons meme where Homer goes back into the privet. That's Chris right now. Right, so we go to the 2 o'clock race tomorrow on the all-weather. Dragon Icon, he's very well bet, 6 into 7 to 2. I'll kick us off on this because I asked my snout at the Varian Yard. He's a bit hit and miss, but he did say that this has been very sleepy in the hood, in the work, and it's been working on its own. So is this D-Day for Dragon Icon folks?
I've got a theory here about these varying
Go
horses.
on.
Because I've been on about this, haven't I, to yourself and Jack, about setting time up not being the time to catch them. Because I think he's overwinding these. And my theory is that tomorrow might be the time to catch him.
Okay.
Because I think they're getting plenty wrong with their horses at the minute. I don't doubt that the information you've had is correct as they see it, but my theory is that they're seeing it wrong. Because there's that many running fucking badly second time and not backing up promising runs. I think things are getting a bit overcooked.
Well, on my numbers, it's better than 95, John.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was the moral German Guineas winner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. So I'm not playing on this, but it's one of them. If I'd have had the nod from the snout, I think I'd have been, I'd have been all over this. But then at Cameron Noble, I'm not really a fan of Cameron Noble either. He's like Jimmy Lindley, lovely pair of hands.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Andy.
I'm in, aren't I? With Al Roofer.
Of course. Yeah, sorry. Well, that's a bit. If my snout's right, Andy, you're boosted there because the snout not happy. Could be not the D-Day. Anyway, 235, the sprint. Diomed Spirit, very, very likeable. I love horses like this that keep winning and winning and winning. Doyler on. However, Diomed Spirit doesn't really have the pace for this Fast Five for me. Chelmsford and Wolverhampton are so different to Leafy. And with stall 7, this won't have the pace to go early. So you've got the 4-1 fav here that's going to be pushed along and out the back. Any angle here, chaps?
I do like Alligator Alley. I think he's really well handicapped. You've got to forgive the run last time out, but should get a bit of pace to run at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those races. If you chucked them all up in the air, they'd come down in a different way 10 times, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it is that sort of race. I mean, Alligator Alley will travel better than Diomed Spirit. That's what I thought. John?
Well, I've done Zarzini.
Of course. I mean, what about Chipstead? This is like a horse that...
There's quite a few back classy performances, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously Oxted's brother. And is he going to surprise you if he suddenly just takes off again and just goes, whoa? But I mean, like, he's rated 98. He don't miss a dance. You look at last season's form, he's kept with the best, all the big meets.
I tell you what, the day he goes, whoa, I want to be there to say it.
Well, yeah. I mean, Chipstead, I thought that might have a chance there, that sort of price. But
useful, isn't he?
Yeah. But Diomed Spirit, I'd question if you back that because you're taking 4-1 and you're not going to like the scenario after about 2 or 3 furlongs, in my opinion. The 310, obviously, Andy with Urso Grand, and rightfully so. It's not a bad price. 9-4. If anyone cribs it, it's the right price. Very progressive filly. Obviously, I made the case for Eleanor Cross. John?
I like yours, Eleanor Cross.
Yep.
I think, providing there's a good even pace, I think she's pretty decent value against these, to be honest. I'm like you, I can't have her as a 75 topped out.
No. If she's 75, I'll pack in.
I don't know why the Richardsons wouldn't have waded her out by now, if that's all there was. They don't need to sit on mares like this.
No. All any punters have got to do is watch the Nottingham run. The debut form with Sisyphus Strength, this really is strong form. 3rd horse, Shining Jewel. 4th horse, Zarga, John.
Yeah, I mean...
So how is this 75?
I mean, when you look at the pedigree on this thing, if they're hanging on to her, you'd think the instructions to bowling would be to find the shittiest maiden you can and get a win on the board, and then take it from there. But, I mean, they're not messing about, are they, running in a race like this to kind of Tom Wolf's race?
They could have run in a race earlier.
Yeah, they could have found a shit heap of a race, couldn't they?
No, I reckon they've targeted her for this. I reckon this is it. I reckon this is the target. Yeah, I like very much, but do respect the fav that seems to be a winning machine. It's 3:45 to finish on the Saturday. This is the Stayers race. I didn't have much view here, John and Andy. Can you help me?
Yeah, just about Smart Champion.
Well, there is that. Yeah, of course. But John's bet. But have we anything else?
Well, the thing is with Smart Champion, it always falls out the stall. So I try and back the bugger in running rather than trying to back it before the race.
Yeah.
Especially with Bailey on it as well, who's not exactly my favourite jockey.
Looking at the sports book, there's a few trying to back it before the race, actually. It's in 11 to 1 on sports book. I don't like this lot against it, to be honest. I think these are mainly shit.
I have to agree with John. The horse is incredibly well handicapped.
Yeah, and I mean, 8 invariably goes forward these days. And he's going to go forward from the 1 box. I think there'll be quite a bit tidy pace on for one of these round here.
Finished really weakly over hurdles last time out, 2 past 8. He was going well and he just fell in a hole.
I don't think everything's right with it, to be honest. But I do think it's a good pace angle for Smart Champion.
African Star might make it as well. Tends to go from the front. Not sure if Le Rouge Chinois will stay this far. Don't know. It's a bit of a thin old race, isn't it? As you say.
Yeah, you're talking yourself into backing Smart Champion.
I've already talked myself into backing it, John.
Right.
Well, I'm backing it. Right.
There we go.
Yeah. We move on to the 1:15 at Lingfield on Sunday. So this is where we can bring Chris back into the room also. So the now lightning Novices chase, £75,000 added. Matata is the favourite, 3 to 1. Views.
There could be a bit of a pace burn up here, couldn't there?
Yeah.
Quite headstrong old twisters. I mean, probably should have won at Cheltenham, shouldn't he, really? Kind of threw that race away. I've seen Master Chewy a couple of times there. I think if they talking about dolling off hurdles, aren't we, and fences here, but I think Master Chewy would have beaten Venetia's there at Aintree if they had jumped the last 2 or 3 there. JPR won. He was going to win the Arkle trial, wasn't he? If there isn't such a thing in the UK as an Arkle trial. I mean, I was looking at the prices before. We got Venetia's at 33 to 1, Master Chewy at 40 to 1, and JPR won at 50 to 1. So what does that say about our 2-mile chases in the UK? You know, could see any one of these winning. To be honest with you,
I mean, Pembroke had a very hard race, didn't it?
The only one to finish, wasn't he?
Yeah, at Aintree.
I thought you were referring to the walkover.
No, like.
I'm just thinking you, Saki.
No, the Aintree race. I've never seen a horse really. Well, I have, but that's an exaggeration. But the horse was knackered coming into the last, and it barely got over it, and it was knackered on the running.
This was at 11:45 in the morning, Lee, as well.
It was. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It'll soon be 10:30 in the morning when the old Premierisation and James Knight and his bandits at the big cup all get their way and say it's a success to race at 10:30 in the morning, etc.
I see Mr. Knight was having a pop at everyone's favourite TV presenter, Jeremy Vine, this week as well.
Oh, was it? Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what did you say?
I can't remember the exact one. It was about Vine when he.
Joey Barton.
I'm paraphrasing here, but it was about Vine sort of staging his misdemeanors or his run-ins with various drivers. You know, he posts these blooming things up, doesn't he?
I thought it might have been the Joey Barton stuff because Joey Barton called him a cycling nonce, didn't he?
Yeah, well, it was all involved. It was all involved in that. I think at one stage, cycling nonce was trending.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. It's kind of a Barstew's thing to do that, but anyway.
What, noncing on bikes?
Well, yeah, that as well. So coming back to the 1:15 chap. Matata is a short runner, but Chris, does not Matata appreciate this track better than Cheltenham? As in, it's an easier track.
Yeah, but I wasn't keen on that finishing effort there at Cheltenham, to be honest with you. It wouldn't be a race I'd really play, and I think you could flip a coin and have 4 different outcomes there on the first 4. Really, I think they're fairly closely matched, aren't they? Really, I'd be reluctant to batten loads from that Aintree meeting. I'd be reluctant to back on another point. I'd be reluctant, and it kind of feeds into the Surrey National. I'd be reluctant to back any from the Welsh National. I think that might have really taken a lot out of them.
Good points. Right. 150. St. Seagal, favourite at 5-2. King of PRs, second in for Gavin Cromwell at 3-1. I'd be intrigued, first of all, to get the thoughts of Chris and Andy on this.
I've never been. I must admit, I've never been a lover of Saint Seagal at all. He might have won last time out if he'd have stood up, but that's debatable. When you look at how the race is going to be run, what's going to be, seems to be a fair bit of pace. First flow, Pharaoh Bamboo like to go forward. Triple Trade's a nice horse, but he did. The race did was rather presented to him last time out by that hound of hounds, Harper's Brook, who's now managed to join the double beaten at 101 club. There ain't many members of that. So I'm not sure what that form's worth. I think you might have hit on the right one there, the King of PRs, especially with Mr. Cromwell raiding our shores on regularly. It wasn't a race I was that keen on getting involved with, but now you've mentioned the King of PRs, Lee, I probably would drift in that direction.
It's James Williams at the head of the market. Ferrero Bamboo is a non-winner. Keeps getting beat. First Fleur is what he is. He tries, but he's 12.
13 next year.
Yeah. You're never, ever going to let me...
Nah, never.
That's done. It's a done thing on the Barsters. 12 now, 13 next year for First Fleur. So there's nothing not to like about this. This is mustard. It should be 6-4. As Gordon Brown says in Air, 6-4. One of Ian Jardine's there at Air, 6-4 for Gordon Brown. That's where I'm at. Anything else to add on this then?
Yeah, I like Saint Seagal in this league.
Oh, you bugger. Go on.
I think if you look at last time out, I think he had Triple Trade well beaten. He had Boot Hill and Johnny Burke worried. I think I quite fancied him for the Grand Annual last year, and then they all got balloted out, didn't they? They all went to that Warwick race, and like Red Rookie, who I fancied as well, won, and then Saint Seagal, I think, come fourth in that. At the Grand Annual there, it was 139 to get in last year. Might not be that much this year, but I think they'll want to win with him to sort of guarantee that, and I think he'll be really trying tomorrow, providing Noonan doesn't get too excited as he did on the first run at Ascot there. So Cromwell's one I thought wanted it really deep. I know it'll be a bit dead on Sunday, but
I think it'll ride terrible. I do honestly, because the frost covers are on. I reckon it'd be really testing.
Yeah, you could be right. And to be, listen, she got a win out of Fast Book the other weekend, and if you can get a win out of Fast Book, then fair enough. So yeah, I quite like it.
Right, so that's rivalry to my 3-point bet, which is of course disgraceful from Chris Gartner. We move on to the 225, which is the Weatherbys Hamilton Handicap Hurdle, £65,000 stake race. Nurse Susan, nurse. We all love a nurse called Susan. 9-2, Fav. What we say here?
Well, I've done my two, haven't I, on this one? So I'll sit this one.
That's that classic Concord, technically off the same mark as last time with the kids' claim taken into account. I think there's plenty in this handicap to the hilt, to be honest. I thought if I had to have a bet, which I'm grateful I don't, because I'll be spending my Capadano winnings by then, I would have a little bit each one classic Concord.
Good stuff, John. Andy?
I'm a little bit worried that Nurse Susan had a bit of a hard race last time out, but I still think she's well handicapped. Mocha Devassi, another Jane Williams horse, has never really jumped particularly well over hurdles, but he did win quite well last time out of Taunton. I know he only beat 3 rivals, but it wasn't a bad run, to be honest with you. I just don't trust his jumping. Respect Chris's opinion on the 2 that he's given on Gull Road and Alaphilippe. You have to say that Alaphilippe is pretty well handicapped. there wasn't anything that stood out for me. I thought if Ramo got out in front, he might be hard to pass, but comes from that race last time out where he was behind Transmission and the rodeo Joe Anderson on that, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rodeo
That was an unbelievable ride. That was, and I thought Ramo ran pretty well, and Venetia's other one in that Tanganyika. It was a bit of a race where, you can give the majority of them a chance. If Mocha Devassi learned to jump, I still think there's a really decent horse trying to get out, but I just don't trust his jumping enough. And he might have got away with it in a 4-runner race last time out, a bit bigger here, more pace. You sort of still think the horse is pretty well handicapped, to be honest with you, but I just don't trust his jumping enough. So I'll do a Nick Davis on the race, and apart from having said a lot, I'll do a no.
No. Right, 3 o'clock. The big one, if you like. Fitzdares Fleur de Lis. Long Press, 8-11. Protectorate, 15-8. Where do we sit on the match race, folks?
Long Press.
Yeah, Long Press. Chris?
Not in question. The only thing I would say is that they were talking about the single, weren't they? And then they were talking about the King George. And now they're talking about Lingfield. I mean, you wouldn't feel your confidence. Well, I mean, look, Venetia Williams after a break, you wouldn't be arsed, would you? I mean, could be 2,000 days off and you'd still have a go, wouldn't you?
But they were good after 2,000 days off, I know that.
But Protectorates, Jesus, he hangs everywhere. He's just not for me, So the day I back Protectorate is the day I pack it all in,
Yep. So it's a resounding for the Fav, really. So if you love a Fav, that's a Fav for you. 3:35, the Surrey National. We've had plenty of discussion on this already. Me, Andy, and Chris have held our hat on the hangers. John?
Man, not just says fuck this.
Right, what do you think to hold that taunt of Venetia's, John, with Charlie Dutch?
Honest to God, there's enough gear for a great ASM festival again. No, I just can't get involved in these. It's a matter of principle.
You like that festival, don't you?
He does.
I love it. I never miss it.
He does. Yeah, he's subliminal.
I take me cleaner every year.
What's the theme this year?
Same as every year, great ASM.
Yeah. Right.
No, I'm point of principle. I just can't get involved in this stuff. It makes me physically ill, to be honest.
Can I put one out of the box in this before we finish?
Well, we haven't had many tips in it, have we? So, yeah, another one, wasn't it?
Another one. Dr. Kananga.
Oh, yes. Blew up last time.
Oh.
Everyone loves Baron Sandy that comes out of the ground. If you don't love that, then life's not worth living. Yeah, Dr. Kananga. Names are for tombstones, baby. I love that. But anyway.
He sat on the train at the end, didn't he? At the front, on the cow scoop.
Second off the window. I like Ben Clark as a trainer. That likes to go from the front. Be surprising if that makes a bold bid, I think. Because a lot of these, I don't think will want to see anywhere near the front early. And yeah, Dr. Kananga.
He did the same, Lee, a couple of years ago with Galloping Bear. Second run after a wind up, Ben Jones on. Galloping Bear won it, didn't he?
How much is full colour Trycast now? About 700 quid.
If we don't get the winner of this, honestly, that's it. We're going to retire the pod. That's it. It's official.
You know what's coming in now? A bloody French Navy horse by John.
Yeah, French Navy, Regal Blue.
Oh.
Dear. We've managed to make best of a bad lot. Obviously, a tricky weekend in terms of knowing what's on TV, knowing what we've got to race with. But I hope you've enjoyed the show. We've certainly come up with some good bets, I feel. Some good prices. Thank you to Chris, Andy, and John. That's all from us. Bye for now.